playing a little Jund deck.
Being a good Jund brother today.
Got a nice fade going on too.
Is that a nice fade?
Shout out to Kyle Palm from here. Looks like a good fade.
I think I'm not going to talk hair with you. Not doing it. It looks a little bit uneven, is what I'm saying. Just a little bit.
Do you think it moves to the back too much?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a fair critique of hair trends currently.
Oh, really?
Yes. There's quite the schism between fades that follow the shape of the head like his does, where the weight moves to the back.
Yeah.
Versus something that's even all the way around.
Just give me a straight fade, bruh.
Right. All right. So this
conversely, Zachary's hair is
under two
unknown.
covers.
Yeah, unknown. He's
I
playing
don't
that
think
one
I've
high
ever
tech.
seen him without a hat on either. Even in the summer. He's committed to the beanie.
What kind of hair do you think he has? You think he just has luscious locks under those
No,
layers?
I don't. He's all right. So I think Zach's pretty favored in this.
Definitely
Kyle,
favored game 1.
Right.
Game 2,
This
Jund
is a-
has got
this is a
a
good
lot
start.
of good tools.
This is worth 3 damage.
How about with 0 damage?
Oh, how about it being worth 4 damage?
Holy
You get to take the Goblin Guide?
smokes.
Which is the whole game.
Well, so if he has a fatal push, he doesn't want to take the Goblin Guide.
Disagree.
Really?
So you're going to take 2 from it and spend another card?
Potentially getting.
Oh, I guess
Oh,
you
man.
turn the card on in your hand.
Right.
He's got a Lightning Bolt, a Terminate.
What was the selection?
I don't know what he took there.
So Lightning Bolt, Terminate, Grimflayer, Tarmogoyf, Forest. Yeah, Goblin Guide's definitely the pick there.
All right.
Replaces the Goblin Guide from the top of the library.
At
Kyle
least-
doesn't care. He gets a land. He
Well,
cares.
he cares.
He cares.
He ca- This just in, Kyle cares.
Kyle cares deeply about his life totally in this matchup.
All right. Here's a forest. So we have land, creature, sorcery. So
Grief is a monster.
so do you block with the Goyf here
100%.
and then force him to use the Searing Blaze that you just saw on it?
Yeah,
So it's like a 2-for-1 in the right direction?
correct. Your Grimflayer is much more important than your Goyf here.
Sure. Yep, trigger.
Oh, that is not a good top deck. You definitely want to block here.
Concur.
Make him 2-for-1 himself. Blaze it.
Right,
So the
Searing
Goyf
Blaze.
grows to a 4/5, but still has 5 damage on it.
Yep.
19-15 here.
All right. Goyf down.
All right. Thoughtseize will never be cast. I shouldn't say never. Never say never.
Justin Bieber taught us that.
Very true. So I would fetch for a basic swamp here to cast this Grimflayer.
Concur, especially since he has Lightning Bolt in hand.
Yes.
Lightning Bolt could kill your Goblin Guide, and not having to put that. That means your Grimflayer's not at risk,
Right.
and it makes your Grimflayer a 4/4 if it were to become at risk.
Right.
So like, if he goes to bolt the Grimflayer, if you sack bolt him,
Yeah. That is the best case scenario. So you don't want to block here.
so now, see, you don't want to.
See,
guess
this is why you fetch a basic swamp here.
Right. Right.
Yeah. right, so this was
Yeah, so we
this
gotta
was
get,
bad. This was very
there
bad.
was some missequencing, kind of stepped on our own toes there
We bolted ourselves.
on the land,
Just bolted it.
situation.
Well, shocked ourselves for no good reason.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got a
Oh,
little.
do we not have a Blood Crypt? Blood Crypt is by far the better land here.
Yeah, I'm assuming Liliana is in.
Yeah, Liliana is the operative card.
Okay.
I guess he does have the Scavenging Ooze.
Oh man, draws a Liliana.
It's not a very good Liliana for this matchup.
All right, terminate, land,
Abrupt Decay.
abrupt decay.
Mill them all.
Yeah, I'd put them all in the bin. I want things that are gonna help me end the game. Like another Tarmogoyf here would be excellent.
Well, a black land would get you Lily, which can get back the Goyf.
All right, Zach's in an interesting position.
So with Kyle at 10, Zach is 3 burn spells away because we know he has a Boros Charm in hand.
Okay, looks like he has a Boros Charm and a Lightning Bolt. So he gets into a situation where he just gets to fire those off.
Draws another Lily. Punished yet
Oh,
again.
Interesting. He is a. Yeah.
He should have eaten his own Goyf in response.
It's a possibility. All right.
All in the
Benjamin
bin.
Bolt.
Maybe Bolt on top.
You like the Bolt, huh? So does Kyle.
I don't think it's going to be relevant.
Okay, here's Lightning Bolt target you. Puts into 4. And we know Boros Charm is the last card in Zach's hand.
So he needs to sequence this correctly because Kyle only has the 1 green mana. Man, didn't Boros Charm in response?
No, I think he was before end of turning.
Well, if it's before end of turn, then he can't gain the life.
I'm so confused as to what happened there.
So if he tried
Depending
to,
on when it was.
yeah, if he tried to eat it at end of turn, then he couldn't have gained the life. And if he did it on his upkeep, he could have just Boros Charmed in response.
Oh, because he didn't have 2 green.
Yeah, I only had 3 lands though.
Kyle's about.
Yeah.
But if he does it at the end of his turn, then he's still skull cracked.
Right. Yeah, so if he's at end of turn, he's skull cracked.
In response on my upkeep. Yeah, I just wasn't expecting to do that. No, that's a good point. I missed that. That was just a mistake.
But
All right.
doing it on his upkeep was also a mistake.
Right,
should
you
have
want to let
definitely-
him flinch first.
Yeah, you definitely want him to flinch first, especially since you're at 4. Like if you were at 3, I could see waiting.
Right.
But
Interesting. So Kyle's going to probably bring in any number of Kitchen Finks and or Obstinate Baloth sometime end up in these Jund sideboards.
not anymore.
Okay.
That was just a mistake on my part.
Not up on the latest Jund tech for this week.
So your best card against burn,
Is
Is-
Kitchen Finks.
Collective Brutality, by a mile.
Oh, okay. You get to drain some life. You get to take a card.
And you get to kill a Goblin Guide for the low cost of 2 mana. It's
Wow.
absurd.
Yeah, this card seems very good. I didn't consider that all the modes were relevant.
Yes. All the modes are very relevant against burn. It's a very strong card. Just that and Kitchen Finks turns this matchup into your favor, I believe.
All right. Well,
Depending on your build, obviously.
sure. If you're the burn player,
If you're the burn player, you want to go up on skull cracks. You want to keep him from gaining life.
I'm personally
Keep him
not a
honest.
huge fan of Monastery Swift Spear.
So I think the fastest burn deck plays it, but I don't think the most resilient burn deck plays it.
Right. And I think against kitchen fink, whatever, you just want to ignore the ground, because like if you put a Swift Spear down and his kitchen fink he's more than happy to block.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, and you can technically outgrow it, but
Yeah, no,
it's
I'm more
still-
than happy to block one. You can make that thing a 4/5, and I'll
Woo!
even better.
Woo!
You know what I mean?
Woo!
So it has to be a 3/4 to live. So you have to have spent 2 spells already, and the kitchen fink is preventing 3 damage and gaining 2 additional life.
Absolutely.
So I'm out on Swift Spear. Goblin Guide is similarly easily trumped, but the card is so powerful on the play
Yeah.
that like it's. I mean, we're talking about a card that's 1 red mana worth 4 damage almost all the time. Like the only card Kyle has to respond to it when he's on the draw is Lightning Bolt.
Fatal push.
Okay, and pushes now. Sorry. I'm still growing accustomed to the format having push in it.
Oh yeah. It's a brave new world out there.
When you didn't do those, I don't know. I just haven't seen that specific thing. So
All right.
that's not an excuse. It's just I don't have that that menu shortcut. Like, oh, at the beginning of my upkeep, he tries to gain a life. Yeah. I knew I didn't have the skull crack, but yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, getting out in front of Zach here is
Just like the
a big deal.
someone
Right. And being on the draw, it's going to be a tougher job than it was
oh, okay. Well,
that game where he got the lead with his Inquisition. So Thoughtseize comes out to make space and Inquisition stays in?
So you can't.
You know
Depends
what-
on how big your board is. I would take out like 2 Thought Seizes, a Maelstrom Pulse if I've got one of those in the main, and then like a Liliana.
Yep, and here's a turn 1 Goblin Guide. This is amongst the best starts
Oh
Zach
my.
can have.
Gets a nice one off the top with Blackcleave Cliffs. You can't ask for a better first turn land. Oh, he's got so many lands.
Here's an Inquisition.
Yeah, Inquisition's fine here.
Oh, man.
Snap that Eidolon. That Eidolon's so bad for you. Yeah, Boros Charm represents a lot of damage here, but that Eidolon is just disgusting. Another land off of this Goblin Guide. It's basically like a free Bob. He didn't even have to pay for it.
Right?
Drawing all these cards. Man, land after land after land after land after land. Oh, and here go the lands.
Man, we just don't even... Yep. Those are the 2 you want to discard. So Zach now knows that he's got to fire off some spells here. You just go for the biggest one in Boros Charm. Because that's all Kyle's going to calculate is...
Yeah.
Hey, I want to get the biggest card possible.
yeah. But then I'm gonna go to 15. You're gonna go to 14. Oh my god.
Yeah, but Collective Brutality is just
Yeah.
the biggest blowout against Burn sometimes.
So...
And this is one of those times where he got the 2 lands off of the Goblin Guide
Oh, yeah.
to pitch to the Collective Brutality. I don't agree with pitching the Raging Ravine because you have to end this game at some point, but...
Yeah, I mean,
so you have a Goyf in hand. You're definitely taking the path here, as awkward as that is. Oh, taking the bolt. Perfectly content getting path.
Alright.
So it makes sense in that it gets rid of 3 potential damage there, but you have to end the game. You've already pitched a Raging Ravine.
Yeah, especially with all these other lands available to you.
Yeah. Why are we not pitching like this Bloodstained Mire? It's just gonna deal damage to you.
Right.
Draws another Goyf.
That's a great follow-up.
Zach
Kyle
being
Palmer
smart
at
here.
11.
It's very tempting to just fire off the path there, but obviously the wrong decision. More good sequencing here.
Yeah, so Swift Spear first, so the path generates the prowess trigger. And,
Yeah, it's not only the Swift Spear path sequencing, but the Lightning Helix Swift Spear path sequencing is very heads up.
When you play your Tarmogoyf, I'll get my Tarmogoyf dice out. This is not just a turn.
I'll get my Tarmogoyf dice.
Okay, cool.
I'll get them.
Not just for Tarmogoyf. Trying to get people on this plan.
Zachary Creemer talking about how he has stock in these Tarmogoyf dice.
yeah. It's got
Oh man.
dice for days.
Draws the Grimflayer. Grimflayer is not delirious. Just
Nope.
2.
Yep, we have Sorcery Land.
This Goyf,
Definitely got it. I have 5 types in my graveyard.
yeah, this Goyf is going to be 5.
Enchantment, instance, creature, sorcery. Actually, I don't have a sorcery.
I have some.
Okay, I have 4. And you have 2 archetypes, so.
It's 5 total.
It's 5 because land is repeated.
I've got instant creature. Yeah, so that's a 5/6.
Did you get an enchantment?
Yeah, enchantment.
So we've got a 5/6 and a 2/2. Not looking good for Zach, although Kyle's at 9.
Yeah, 9's low enough that I'm concerned about it.
Suspend. Riftbolt.
So Kyle's is at a virtual 3 here. If he were, he could make the mistake of attacking with both his creatures, and that might. I guess he has another another Grimflayer coming down.
Yeah, swinging in with both creatures is probably right here.
Yeah, but if he didn't have another
But if-
creature,
yeah, if he did have a creature.
yeah, it'd be wrong.
Now
He just drew this second Grimflayer.
we're also now seeing how much different this game would have played out if he would have kept that Raging Ravine.
Sure. Okay, Zach's going to take.
Yeah, you take 5 here, go to 13. Nobody really cares.
Not at Delirium. I'll take it. We'll bolt you.
Okay, Zach didn't Lightning Bolt. I think Lightning Bolt's the last card in hand. Oh, we've already.
That's relevant.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I meant to do that at the end of your turn. Put you to 3.
All right.
All right, so we went back.
It didn't matter anyway, but it is good to be mana efficient.
It would have mattered if that was a Lightning Helix on top of the deck.
It would have also. It also matters here because this Eidolon is effectively
now-
shutting Kyle down from casting spells. Well, not really.
All right, so he's got to attack with just the Tarmogoyf here, earning a block from the Monastery Swift Spear.
Or he could just take it. Just attacking for 2.
That's interesting. I take this if I'm Zach.
It can grow the rest of his Grimflayers, but you're not really worried about anything going into his yard.
attack with the
And you're just a spell away from victory here.
Yeah, you go to 11. All you need to do is keep your life total above at 3 or greater,
Yeah.
because you need to survive through an Eidolon trigger when you cast the spell that kills him. And literally your entire deck kills him. Like
Yes.
every non-creature spell in your deck is live.
Agreed. And he's
Uh,
gone through a lot of creatures already.
Oh, this can't be the right block. Okay, so I guess it could be the right block because
This can't be. All right, so I guess it could.
it could be if we're assuming all
What's the
non-creature
draw?
spells are live. It would just be face up on the table if it was a real card.
Did he look at it?
If
Oh, I
it's
didn't
a
know if he
land.
looked at it yet.
If it were a creature, it'd be on the table. If it were a spell, it would be on the table.
Holding land is also a heads-up play because it keeps Searing Blaze live.
Concur. Yeah. We're going to keep Kyle off cards for one more turn.
That's very relevant.
Yeah, I agree with blocking here. If we're going to commit to blocking with the Eidolon, you block with the Swift Spear here.
Yeah. And this Swift Spear is never going to get in for damage unless you pump it. And if you pump it, then he's dead anyway.
Holy smokes. Yep. You got back-to-back lands there.
So he's not dead.
I know, right? That's 2 in a row. Go.
Yeah.
He's not dead, but if
But
Kyle
what-
kept the Raging Ravine, he would be.
Yeah.
That's 2 in a row that I've missed.
That's alright. It's alright that we've missed 2 in a row here. Still live for any non-creature spell.
So attacks in for
That's
9 damage, taking Zach down to 4. If Zach hadn't chump blocked 2 turns in a row, then Kyle would have a target for this Abrupt Decay, which would turn on his Grimflayer's Delirium.
Right.
Now he's going to hit 3 lands. There's an instant.
Alright.
Delirium, which doesn't matter.
He's
draws-
He's over 50% to win the game here.
The Lava Spike.
Yeah. So I think he was over 50% 3 times in a row to win the game.
Oh, yeah.
Got 18 lands. We had about if we're on 4 Goblin Guides, 4 Monastery Swift Spears, and 4 Eidolons is the only creature spells. I guess he had paths too, so he might have been just below 50% 3 times in a row.
Okay.
Yeah, with like 45 cards left in the deck. Yeah. Bernie could tell us. He can do that math in his head apparently.
I drew a Swift Spear. That was the only.
Okay. Yeah.
Which, yeah.
So, I mean, this game came down to a couple of miscues by Kyle in the early game, and against these burn decks, you can't do that. You have to play very tight.
Yeah, So, the thing the burn deck does in the format is that it shortens the game,
Right.
making every decision inside that game matter so much more. Like, Kyle's... So, even though we played like 3 or 4 turns there where Zach was like chump blocking and stuff,
Yeah.
those turns were highly irrelevant
Everyone else, well, yeah.
because they could have not... Well, they were highly relevant because Zach got 3 extra draw steps because he discarded that Raging Ravine.
Yeah.
So if Kyle would have, not discarded the Raging Ravine, played a little tighter, he would have shortened the game even further.
So he should have discarded the Bloodstained Mire instead of the Raging Ravine, and he should have taken the Path instead of the Bolt.
Yeah, I mean that's not what your bolts are for.
Oh, sure.
That's like
That would have been,
be embarrassing.
like, that's very relevant.
I'm supposed to make that line where I don't
Yeah.
firework, and I don't because that's not what my bolts are for. Like bolt the bird is something everyone takes for granted, but like I generally don't do it because that's not what mine are for. I want to searing blaze the bird. I want to like react to the thing, whatever it is that they play off of the bird. This head is garbage.
All right, so both players going to go down to 6 here. Zach's on the play, which makes a big deal in this burn deck.
It definitely does. He also announced that his 7-card hand was garbage.
Garbage.
You don't see a lot of garbage hands from the burn deck.
No, that's one thing is that it's a tight package.
Yeah.
It's finely tuned. You don't need more than... Like, you'd love 3 lands, but you can live on 2.
Yeah. Definitely 2 on 6. I don't want 3 in my 6.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm just saying in the course of the game, you want 3. You don't want 4. And you can live on 2.
Yeah, 4 is right out.
If you get to 5 lands, you're like... Might not win the game. Like,
Probably won't win the game.
right.
If they have any pressure at all.
Right.
I saw Huntmaster in Kyle's deck there.
This is a card I've seen kicked around in that... I feel like that 4-drop spot is where people make this Jund deck their own.
Yeah.
They
So
play
the
around, play Kalidas, Huntmaster,
Olivia.
Thrun. There's a whole
Down to 5 for the Jund player.
menagerie, and staying at 6 for the burn player.
Yeah.
This is another advantage of playing this burn deck. Somebody mulligans is too much, you punish them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just straight up, just let them have it.
All the forums I read say like their favorite
Oh
dispatch.
man.
50-50 against everything except Ron.
Do you want your perfect fits back?
Speaking of good Jun brothers, I got another one back here.
Kyle Kepi, the Jump brother. You're fine. He borrowed some cards from me. I was giving him a hard time by doing the condition check.
I'm bad for it too.
I don't see any.
How hard did you riffle those? Just the full on.
I mean, one of the reasons I love playing with my own cards is that I love to shuffle a deck.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can't do
Those
that.
things are a couple shuffles away from me and Pringles.
This one feels soft. This
Uh-oh.
one feels too.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Kyle Palmer on 5.
Zach should be on the. Oh, here
Seal
we
of
go.
Fire on the play is pretty strong defense against a Goblin Guide. But if Zach doesn't have the Goblin Guide hand, it's pretty embarrassing.
Well, this is actually fine. It keeps Eidolon off the table.
Okay. And a turn for you.
Let's see if Zach can count to 20 here.
It looks good looking at his hand. Here's a Goblin Guide.
So this makes his Eidolons live. It's a heads up play by Zach. Is that you just play into that?
Oh, don't play that. I don't know to play that.
All right. So the challenge here is that Kyle played a land that came into play untapped when he could have played a land that came into play tapped.
Yes.
And had more green mana available for when he gets this.
Also, yes. Although that land is a Verdant Catacombs, and I think just... Oh, don't mulch yourself to do that. I guess you have to. It's fine.
All right.
It's...
11 to 20. I haven't taken any.
All right. So 11. This is 4 cards away. Zach has 2 in hand. Gosh, so he has a Path to Exile here. All things being equal, I would fire the Path off on this guy.
Yeah, it's a reasonable time to do so. That does
it's
get
exiled,
exiled.
and it matters in this deck.
How many forests is Kyle playing? Hopefully, for his sake, it's 2. I saw a Thragtusk in there.
That card matters.
Oh, getting a swamp.
Sure. Put you to 10.
Why are we getting a swamp?
Maybe he only has 1 forest.
Why doesn't he get an Overgrown Tomb in a forest? What? Is it
This,
still his turn?
Yeah, there's a Scavenging Ooze in play
Oh, okay.
that he's announced but hasn't.
19. I'll get a Sacred Boundary back.
Right.
There it is. Scavenging Ooze has entered the battlefield.
So the Path gets a forest. The fetch land should get Overgrown Tomb. And take 2 damage on the Overgrown Tomb.
No, I thought this was at end of turn that it got passed, but if it
Oh,
was during
okay.
combat, this is fine.
Okay.
Gotta do what you gotta do. If he has a second forest, they should have definitely both been forests, but
Right.
don't always have that luxury. I believe Kyle's at 10 now because he fetched.
No, he gained a life on the
Oh, he
Scavenging
gained a
Ooze
life.
activation.
Okay. Another Verdant Catacombs.
Interesting. Zach's holding 7. 3 of which can prevent life gain from the Scavenging Ooze, which is critical.
Yeah, if you're Kyle, you're just gaining 1 life at a time anyway, but...
I just have the Eidolon.
Grimflayer is exiled, so you can't target
Grimflayer's
that.
exile. It can't be targeted.
Okay, we'll Skullcrack.
But you do gain the counter.
So one thing that you can do here is that he can retarget the same card. Because because the card's still there.
Yes.
So he could have retargeted to gain the life, but you only get one counter at that point. And you've paid 2 mana, so that's just a little bit of a toit like a Toiger play. Alright, so Kyle's at 4 now.
Fire up this Raging Ravine.
Yeah, because the
Let's
Scavenging
go to the
Ooze is
market.
no longer relevant because there's no more creatures to target.
I mean, it's relevant.
Well,
And
I mean,
then
it's
it's a
relevant
4/4,
in that
but
it's a creature on the board. I'm just saying in the damage race calculation, it's no longer relevant. All right.
All right. It looks like Zach's hand is Monastery Swiftspear Path.
Interesting. I'd be getting this path.
No!
Alright.
If he sends that Path at the dome, this Raging Ravine's lethal.
Had to have the bolt.
Oh, he draws another bolt. He's not even punished. Not even punished.
Deck's too good.
Go
Yeah.
get him, Judd.